this is our last public board meeting of the school year. Not school year, calendar year. December 16th. So we appreciate everybody's patience for us as we have some additional business that we take care of in our executive sessions that allow us to make sure that all of our board meetings run on time and scheduled for the year and all of our business is conducted. So I'd like to welcome you to today's meeting. I'll read the roll call of the board for our record. Please identify yourself before speaking for the record. I'll go through the roll call for each vote this evening. Vice Chair Parker,
Vice Chair Parker, present.
Commissioner Ames Messenger,
Ames Messenger present.
Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Chicas Guzman present.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy.
Commissioner Coy present.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito.
Commissioner Esposito present.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay, present.
Thank you, Commissioner Mohammed. He'll join us in just a few minutes. Commissioner Redding Lollinger,
Reading Lounger, present.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff, who I believe is virtual.
Scott Woodruff present.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Simmons present.
Thank you, Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Commissioner Slater Harrington, present.
You and I'm also present. Is there a motion to reopen tonight's meeting?
So moved, Esposito.
I'm so sorry. We have Chicas Guzman and Esposito. Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Ames Messenger.
Yes.
Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Commissioner Coy.
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay.
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed. Commissioner Redding Lollinger.
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yes.
And I'm in favor. This motion passes. We'll now stand for the presentation of colors from Patterson High School.
Oh, 5, 8. Air First Lieutenant Manegas, Air Force George PC, MD 922, First Mission.
Mission granted.
About hey.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God,
Sorry, my friend. So did you agree with the part that now that the hard work is over, it will be?
Forward. March.
extend a round of applause for the JRTC for that. Is there a motion to approve the prior open session minutes?
So moved Esposito.
Thank you, Commissioner Esposito. Is there a second?
Second, Chicas Guzman.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas Guzman. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger, Commissioner Chicas Guzman.
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Redding Lollinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. This motion passes. Is there a motion to approve the closed session summaries?
So moved Esposito.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger,
Yes.
Commissioner Chicas Guzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito.
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Redding Lollinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
No, thank you. Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yes.
Thank you, and I am in favor. This motion passes. So once again, we'd like to welcome you to the December 16th Public Board Meeting. So as we begin this evening, I would like to take an opportunity to extend just my warmest welcome and gratitude for our entire school community. I'm just going to read a statement. This one's a little bit long, but this gave me an opportunity just to think about what I wanted to say this evening. But you know, our students, our families, our staff, our partners, our commissioners, all are part of our journey here at City Schools in terms of supporting young people. This past year has been a journey of growth and resilience, shared accomplishments, all that I'm proud of and the collective efforts that we've made. To our students, I'd like to thank you personally for your curiosity, enthusiasm, and dedication to your learning here at City Schools. Your achievements are a testament to your hard work and your determination. And a special thanks to our families and our parents for your ongoing support and partnership in the education of our students. Your involvement is key and invaluable, and together we create a foundation for success. To our dedicated CEO, thank you, madam. Our teachers, our staff, I would like to thank you for your unwavering commitment to shaping young minds and creating a positive learning environment. Your passion and dedication make a lasting impact on the lives of our students. And lastly, I'd like to thank my fellow board commissioners for your wisdom, your leadership, and your collective spirit. You've been so supportive throughout this entire year, throughout my appointment as board chair, and have been instrumental in steering our district towards excellence. So thank you. So wishing everybody an opportunity to have a wonderful holiday season. Second, I'd like to take this opportunity to extend just a delightful honor on behalf of the entire board and heartfelt congratulations to Dr. Santelises on being named as one of our 4 finalists for the 2026 National Superintendent of the Year. So this prestigious honor is one that's shared with our entire community here in Baltimore City and reflects not only her exceptional leadership, her steadfast commitment to equity and excellence, and her unwavering belief in every single child here in Baltimore City, all made possible by not only her leadership, but by the commitment of everybody here in City Schools. So we once again look forward to celebrating this honor once it's bestowed upon you. We have no doubt that that will happen in February. So an early congratulations there. Thank you. And actually, I think I'm gonna pause on my additional remarks that we had this evening to move through our agenda, as we've got a pretty robust schedule to move us through. I do want to take an opportunity to honor the gifts and donations that have been made by one particular donor in particular this evening, from the Angel Reese Foundation, in the amount of $5,000 to the district office for community engagement for gift cards for 2 schools, and these are going to be in honor of Katherine Johnson Global Academy and Coppin Academy High School. So we thank you for that. Is there a motion to approve the PEP and quasi judicial matters?
So moved Esposito.
Thank you. I'll take Parker on a first and second from Esposito. All in favor, Vice Chair Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger,
Yes.
Commissioner Coy,
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay,
Yes.
Commissioner Redding Lollinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington,
Yes.
and I'm in favor. This motion passes. I'll now pass it over to Dr. Santelises for CEO comment.
Great. Thank you very much, Chair. Good evening, everyone. Couple of remarks this evening. First, this past Saturday, we had more than 2,500 students and families at our annual Choice Fair at the Baltimore Convention Center. This year's theme was Your Choice is Your Voice, celebrating the academic, visual, and performing arts, CTE, and specialty program offerings available across city schools. More than 90 schools, offices, and vendors provided families with direct access to principals, staff, and students to learn about school cultures, programs, and opportunities. The fair also featured a special panel discussion featuring recruiters from Coppin State University, Towson University, Goucher College, and St. Mary's College of Maryland, which offered families early insights into college readiness, dual enrollment, and post-secondary opportunities. I also want to give a big thank you for the student performances that featured the Mighty Marching Ducks from Frederick Douglass High School, the Lady Bulls cheer team from Bard Early College High School, the Marching Clippers from Patterson High School, the Marching Flock from Baltimore Polytechnic Institute and Western High School, and the Black Knights cheerleaders from Baltimore City College. And I just want to give a special thanks to the Office of Enrollment, Choice, and Transfers, and the many volunteers across central office and the district who worked so hard to make this year's school choice fair a success. Thank you so much, everybody. Last Friday, I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the Senator Robert L. Dalton Stadium at Lake Clifton. The project will include stadium lighting, a regulation turf football field, and an 8-lane competition track, as well as other track and field areas. Now, this stadium really will be much more than just the brick and mortar. It represents our commitment to safe, modern sporting facilities and student wholeness. It also serves as an example of what our city can do with collaboration, not only from city schools, but also state government agencies, elected officials, and strong community groups like Cold Stream, Homestead, Montebello, Community Corporation, or CHUM. Even amid resource constraints, we are moving forward. We are finalizing design plans for a new track and field at Edmondson Westside with construction targeted for this spring. Additionally, we will be launching design work for baseball and softball fields at City College, as well as track and field projects at Patterson High School and Carver Vocational Technical High School, while continuing to seek the construction funding needed to bring these projects to completion. I also just want a special shout out to Mayor Scott, to our director, Reggie, of our city rec and parks. We just had a number of collaborators, and this would not be possible, frankly, without collaboration. And so I think one of the things we should be proud of is that our city is coming together to make sure that our young people have the spaces they deserve. And speaking of athletics, I am very pleased to congratulate our newest state champions. Earlier this month, the Mervo Mustangs football team won the Division 4A, 3A state championship, and Dunbar Poets won their record-breaking 14th state championship in Division 2A, 1A. In addition, the Patterson High School Unified Tennis Team were also state champions. I should say tennis team was also the state champion. Sorry, the English teacher and me, just that subject verb misagreement hurt my ear. City schools teams also won a number of city championships this fall. Congratulations to both the girls and boys cross-country teams at Baltimore Polytechnic, the girls flag football team at Forest Park, the girls and boys soccer teams at Baltimore City College, the unified tennis teams at both Patterson and Carver, girls volleyball at Poly and Digital Harbor, and the Football City Championships that I mentioned earlier. Big congratulations to all our student athletes on an incredibly successful fall season. And that concludes my remarks for this evening. I will turn it back to you, Chair.
Congratulations to all those who were honored this evening. Before we move on tonight, I'd actually like to go backwards a step just to make sure that there's a critical introduction for our entire community. Many of you have not met our new board executive, so Yusuf Ahmad is joining us. We're excited. This is his first public board meeting with us here. He had an opportunity to be with us for our COMAR hearing, and we're excited to have him join and help support the board, which also in turn supports all of our young people here in the district. We're excited that you're here. So I'll now review the consent agenda. Board colleagues, please let me know if you'd like an item removed, and please state your question for staff. 9.02, gifts and donation from the Angel Reese Foundation. 9.03, update to board procedures BLC, procedures and appeals and hearings under section 7-305 of the Education Article Tier 1. This is the second reader. Can you, do your mic one more time? And
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, please pull, question is how will the changes affect principal level authority and discretion?
Okay.
So any insight there?
all right, thank you so much for staff. We'll bring them up a little bit later. I am going to pull item 9.04 for presentation. This is the school year 26-27 calendar recommendations. 12.01, therapeutic and non-therapeutic aid services contract increase. 18.01, Wilmer, Cutler, Pickering, Hale, and Dorr LLP legal services contract increase.
Can you pull that as well? No question, just a comment.
We'll pull for comment, and we'll welcome legal staff up for that. 20.01, community school support, professional development, and out-of-school time programming. So we'll now turn to public comment. And before we begin tonight's public comment, I just want to acknowledge and provide a public statement just so that we're all clear on the board's expectation for engagement and public comment. So this is just in light of our recent COMAR hearing that we had here at City Schools in this very room, where a portion of our board attended. We recognize the need to have robust community engagement, and the board welcomes that. At the same time, I just want to underscore the importance of public safety and ensuring that each person has an opportunity to engage in public comment in a way in which the discourse can be heard by the board. And there's an opportunity for us to make sure that it is safe in the room. The guidelines that we've established for public safety and the direction of the Board of School Commissioners, along with our board office staff, school staff, and our partners and police department underscore our guidelines. These protocols are in place not to limit participation, but to ensure transparency while safeguarding the well-being of every single person in this room. So not just the board, but every single person. By working together, listening respectfully, and honoring these guidelines, we can continue to grow and foster a collaborative atmosphere that allows meaningful engagement and supports the importance of the work that lies ahead. In the event that we do need to pause the room to make sure that public comment is held within those guidelines, the board has the discretion to do so. We're hopeful that that's not the case this evening. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our vice chair to lead us through public comment this evening.
Good evening. We will now move to public comment. Public comment is shared by our district recognized groups and the general public. Representatives from our recognized groups will have the opportunity to share public comment first. for 5 minutes each. Afterwards, the general public may share. First, we have Melissa McDonald representing the Baltimore Teachers Union.
Good evening, board members. My name is Melissa McDonald, and I'm an English teacher at Connections and represent teachers on the executive board of the Baltimore Teachers Union. I'm speaking tonight about the urgent need for focused, sustained recruitment and retention of school-based staff, teachers, PSRPs, and substitutes. Anyone paying attention can see it. We're in a staffing crisis and have been for years, yet leadership, both at the school level and at North Avenue, continue to ignore the warning signs. We're in a situation where one hand doesn't know what the other is doing. Vacancies are rising, students are increasingly sitting in classrooms without instruction, and yet the district still can't provide a transparent, accurate vacancy list. What even counts as a vacancy? District and school leaders can't clearly define it. In fact, district leaders provided the BTU with a vacancy list that was ironically vacant of many of the vacancies educators see every day. Obvious unfilled positions in both traditional and charter schools do not appear on the district vacancy list. Anyone can walk into a school and immediately see how many missing positions are not reflected in the district's vacancy data. Without boots on the ground, the district cannot accurately identify vacancies, and without accurate data, recruitment efforts will fail and retention will continue to suffer. Students lose instruction and staff absorb the burden until they leave. When one hand is reporting one thing and the other is seeing another, recruitment planning becomes impossible. Long-term substitutes are being used to cover essential positions, physics, fifth grade, and more. Because these roles are considered technically filled, they disappear from vacancy data, masking the true scope of the staffing crisis. And this shortage ripples outward. Special educators are pulled from their core responsibilities to cover classrooms, leaving students without legally required accommodations, modifications, and one-on-one support. In some schools, classrooms are left unsupervised, or students are split among other teachers simply to be supervised. Instruction is disrupted, workloads increase, and the conditions drive burnout and turnover. If the district mislabels or hides vacancies, how can we begin to fill the positions? How can we retain our staff who are overwhelmed by the consequences? Compounding this, a whole cohort of international teachers hired on J-1 visas instead of H-1B visas will be forced to leave the district, creating even more vacancies in high-need areas such as math and special education. Again, one hand brings these teachers in, and the other hand plans no strategy for when they must leave. So I must ask, where is the Baltimore City Public Schools recruitment campaign? Where are district representatives at college hiring fairs? Where's the urgency? Or is the lack of urgency because district leaders genuinely believe the vacancy numbers that they are reporting? But recruitment alone won't solve this crisis because the data tells us something even more alarming. Each year, the district hires more new teachers, 576 this year alone, and 75% of them don't hold a professional certificate. Without intensive, sustained support and training, these educators will not stay, and recruitment will remain a revolving door. In some schools, administrators document new teachers for instructional shortcomings rather than providing coaching and support. New PSRPs and substitutes often begin without formal district training, and new teachers are placed in classrooms on day one without observing effective instruction, receiving modeled strategies, or being trained on the instructional framework, yet are still evaluated by it. Many teachers, both new and experienced, are also expected to manage significant behavior challenges with limited or no administrative support. One hand hires them, the other one fails to support them, contributing directly to teacher turnover. At the same time, district leaders continue to make harmful academic and operational decisions that further erode retention. The Canvas mandate is one of the clearest examples. A small group of central office leaders decided without widespread teacher input that all high school teachers must use Canvas for daily instruction. Teachers were locked out of Google Classroom and forced to transition overnight with no training, no preparation time, and immediate technical failures. Some teachers have spent hours with corporate support, others avoid the platform entirely. And across the district, teachers lost hours of planning time because of a top-down decision made with no coordination and no consultation. One hand mandates, the other hand does not equip. Whether educators are spending hours navigating new programs, completing repetitive kick-up courses, preparing for unannounced formal observations scored on rubrics not designed for daily classroom practice, devoting days to completing SLPs, or being voluntold to substitute, the result is the same. Experienced educators grow exhausted and leave. Many of our colleagues who have left Baltimore City Public Schools to work in surrounding counties, often for less pay, tell us that it's simply easier. This system is hemorrhaging educators because the hands responsible for recruitment, professional support, data accuracy, and instructional decision-making are not working together. And while we wait, educators carry the weight, but students carry the cost. Recruitment requires accurate data. Retention requires coordinated support. We can't fix a staffing crisis when one hand does not know what the other is doing. Thank you and have a good night.
All right, next we will have Ms. Chris Patterson representing the Parent and Community Advisory Board, PCAP.
Sally, and Vice Chair Parker, and esteemed Board of Commissioners, Dr. Santelises, and members of the community. My name is Chris Patterson. I'm a second-year board member of the Parent and Community Advisory Board for the Baltimore City Public Schools. I am also a proud graduate of Baltimore Public Schools, as well as a proud parent and employee of Baltimore City Public Schools. PCAP was established by Maryland law to ensure that parents and the community have a direct voice in shaping the future of Baltimore City Public Schools. Our purpose is to advise the CEO and this board on how families, educators, and community partners can collaborate to help our students succeed. On behalf of our members, I thank you for the opportunity to provide updates. Over the weekend, we were thrilled to see so many scholars and families at our Saturday's City Schools, Middle School, High School Choice Fair. Engagement and excitement for the next steps in your educational journey were inspiring. And we would also like to thank those
We're
who
just
have
gonna
already
pause this for just 1 second and see if we can
participated
just
in our family
about this, because it's just, I want to make sure we hear what Ms. Patterson has to share. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead just for a second while we try to work on technical difficulties here. We'll pass to our board executive to lead us through the next portion of public comment and come back to this video at the end.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Chair Sally, for the warm welcome and the introduction. I look forward to working with all of you as we move our school district forward. Before we begin, I'd like to read a statement regarding public comment. The board recognizes the importance of receiving public comment on matters of educational interest. Each speaker shall be granted 3 minutes, and speakers may not yield their time to another individual. Official time will be kept. At the end of 3 minutes, please conclude your remarks. If you recall from the Comar hearings, or if you were not here, I'll keep time here. At the conclusion of 3 minutes, I'll say time, and if you could please finish the sentence you're currently on, we'll move on to the next person. Reminders to not use the opportunity to air employee grievances or to make complaints on behalf of or about specific individuals. Per board policy, speakers must stay on the agenda topic for which they sign up to speak. Should speakers stray from guidance, they will receive a warning to immediately redirect their comments and may have their microphone turned off and comments stricken from public record. So first, we have a video submitted by Khalik Lee.
Hi, my name is Khalik. I go to Highlandtown 215, and there are problems in the bathrooms. Students skip class to go to the bathrooms and to smoke, vape, and fight, etc., and mess around and throw soap on the ceiling. When teachers aren't looking, they leave the classroom to skip class, and the teachers don't do anything about it. The only thing the teachers do is call the office, but the students is in the bathroom smoking. People like me who want to go to the bathroom can't because the bathroom passes aren't back because the people who went to the bathroom are skipping and trashing the bathrooms. Teachers should have a sign-out sheet and time the students who need help or who need to take a break, and have a way to ask that doesn't involve bathrooms.
Next, if we can have Armin Shiraz to the table.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, sorry. Excited to be here. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk today. My name is Armin Shiraz, and I'm part of the mock trial team at Baltimore City College. Today, I'm here to talk about the increasing tension that immigrant families feel in Baltimore City because of the ICE activity that has increased. Many immigrant families are facing uncertainty and fear due to the increased ICE activity that I just talked about. Most of this stems from the lack of knowledge and access to information. In this situation, schools are uniquely positioned to provide information, support, and resources. We have seen examples of this type of service a lot in the past years. For example, the Los Angeles Unified School District shared a preparedness packet to families in case of ICE encounters. This proactive choice ensures that students and families have all information in advance and prepares them for any emergency. In Baltimore, BCPSS has proposed some information to families, and we appreciate your commitment to help. And therefore, because of your commitment to help, I'm here to ask you to provide some changes and updates to the previous methods and unify the help being provided. This can be done through a comprehensive packet similar to the one provided by Los Angeles School District. This packet would include a few things, such as current Know Your Right informations, which would be surrounded by what to do if ICE shows up at your house, what to do if ICE pulls you over in public situations, and information about warrants and legal emergency resources. This packet would also include updated emergency contact forms, Maryland standby guardianship paperwork, instructions on how to obtain passports for students, and updates on legal advice that reflect current best practices. This packet should also be available in multiple languages to support immigrant families and should not just be delivered in English, as they will not be able to understand them all the time. A preparedness packet is crucial for reducing fear and uncertainty, ensuring students' safety, and strengthening trust between families and schools. We respectfully request that BCPSS develop and distribute a comprehensive, updated preparedness packet for immigrant families, drawing on best practices from other large districts. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Next, we have audio submitted by Chloe Gingles.
I'm Chloe. I go to Bard High School Early College, and I would like to address the issue of bathrooms in schools and with the passes. Bathrooms are really dirty, and I feel like should be cleaned more often and looked at more often because of how many things end up broken or misused, leading them to be broken. Along with the passes that are given to students that are known to be gone for long periods of time, or just the whole class period to the last 5 minutes, affecting others that need to go to the bathrooms, which can cause health issues and urinary tract infections, along with the learning that disrupts the teachers and what they need to do. Like, for instance, how a teacher would stop a lesson just because of a student that was trying to leave the class for no reason and cut into my class time. With this, I feel like there are many ways that this could be fixed, but not talked about enough, like hall monitors / bathroom monitors that will help make sure bathrooms aren't being played in or destroyed. And with the halls for people that just take the pass to skip class and stay in and play in the halls. And I feel like with this, we could come up with reasonable and effective consequences that could help to show them that they can't just do things that they want to do, and give an effective feedback to their actions. With this, I hope that you can understand the problems that this causes in schools and consider bringing this into a policy with schools to help others and understand that this affects way more than my school and affects many schools in this district.
Next, if we can have Chloe Luck Ellis to the table.
Have you push the, yep, we're all set.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Chloe Luck Ellis, and I'm a student at Pearl Lawrence Dunbar High School. I am here to speak on the unexpected transfer of Ms. Nagash, its impact on the continuation of SGA, and the importance of strong advisor support. I have been involved in SGA as class president for 2 years, and during that time, I've seen firsthand how consistent guidance is essential to student leadership and school-wide progress. With the support of our current advisor, Ms. Nagash, I have been able to pursue opportunities such as the Youth Senate program, lead projects that serve our school community, and grow as a student leader. Her guidance helps students stay organized, remain accountable, and successfully follow through on initiatives that benefit both SGA and the broader student body. This unexpected transfer of Ms. Nagash would disrupt the continuity of ongoing projects, limit students' access to leadership opportunities, and weaken the structure that allows SGA to function effectively. Strong, stable advisor support is critical to ensuring that SGA continues to amplify student voice and foster leadership that positively impacts our school community. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
We have a video from Anne Marie Linowecki.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Anne Marie Glenowicki, and I'm speaking on behalf of students with disabilities, IEP chairs, special educators, and related service providers across Baltimore City Public Schools. I'm raising a serious concern about the loss of critical funding for our students with IEPs due to failures in this year's third-party billing process. As stated in our own district manual, Medicaid reimburses certain administrative services provided under IDEA. It is the obligation of city schools to pursue these reimbursements and the obligation of staff to provide the documentation required to support billing and sustain audits. These funds are used to support special education services and school health. The Office of Third-Party Billing is responsible for coordinating and monitoring this work in compliance with federal and state regulations. Each year, school administrators are informed of funding awarded as a result of the hard work done by special educators, related service providers, and IEP chairs. These funds directly support students by providing materials, services, and supports that allow them to access and succeed in the general education curriculum. Of the 167 schools in Baltimore City Public Schools, as of today, 37 schools reported their lost funding amounts. Of those 37 schools, 6 never received a funding award letter, meaning they had no way of knowing that action was required. The remaining 31 schools lost a total of $938,950 in funding through no fault of their own, largely due to no communication, initial communication after the deadline, lack of follow-up, and lack of clear guidance from district office. When schools reached out to district leadership for clarification, they were told that spending plans would no longer be accepted and that funds were simply lost. This is not a minor administrative issue. These funds exist to support students with disabilities and ensure access to the general education curriculum. Losing them due to communication breakdowns undermines equity, limits services, and compromises our ability to provide a free, appropriate public education, as required by IDEA. We respectfully ask the board to do the following. Number 1, investigate this failure. Number 2, restore or reallocate the lost funds where possible. Number 3, establish a clear, transparent process so this does not happen again. Number 4, ensure that IEP chairs are part of all correspondence, including consistently communicated deadlines moving forward. Our students with disabilities deserve access to the resources they're legally entitled to. Thank you for your time and attention.
Before we call the next speaker, if I could just remind the public not to use the opportunity to make comments on behalf of or about specific individuals. If I could have Aisha Sadibe to the table.
I just want to underscore that point. So if it gives you just a moment to revise public comment that includes specific personnel, give you just a moment to remove that from your comments this evening before proceeding. So you can talk generalities, but not about specific personnel. This is for any public comment.
Did you understand what he?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go for it.
We'll move forward and come back. If I could have Anthony Grande to the table.
Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk in front of you all. My name is Anthony Grande, a student at Baltimore City College and member of SOMOS. Today, I want to talk about the absences concerning immigration. In these past months, the safety of our immigrant families and students has been at risk. Students have been afraid to attend school, and families have been afraid about their students' safety at school. They're afraid about whether or not they and their loved ones can make it home safely. They don't fear just because it might happen, but because it has happened. I know this because it affected those around me. In the 24-25 school year, my friend attended a Baltimore City public school, and immigration services had gone to their campus. Their safety was at risk. Fortunately, no student was affected, but they were still anxious. Anxious to go to class. Anxious because their lives were at risk even in school. I still remember the anxiety when it happened. It caused them to miss class frequently. Their grades were dropping because of their anxiety, because they knew that their safety was still at risk for them and their family. They didn't want to go to class because they knew their safety was still at risk, and it still is at risk for many students. Even though they and many other students felt they weren't safe, if they missed school due to the situation regarding immigration, their absences were unexcused. If their safety is at risk, why should their absences be unexcused? For far too long, our fears have been seen as just hypothetical situations, but it just isn't that. It's happened before, and it's important to ensure that our students don't fear for their safety again. This is why it's important to excuse absences relating to student safety regarding immigration. I have a question for you all. Would you want to come to work or school knowing you're not safe? If you wouldn't, I want you to imagine how students would answer. An important issue that should also be considered is in the case that a family member is deported. When a family member is deported, I'm sure you can imagine the hole this leaves in a student's life. Students simply can't just get over the loss of a loved one like that, and they should have time to recover. Studies show that the same reaction that the mind has is the same one as when a loved one dies. It is important to let these students grieve and excuse their absences in this case. One last thing to consider is excusing absences because of immigration appointments. These appointments concern the safety of a student and their family, similar to a doctor's appointment. It is important that students should be able to go to these appointments without their absences being unexcused. These appointments concern their safety and should be treated as such. City Schools has done a lot to help immigrant families around Baltimore. Policies have been put in place to create a safer learning environment for us. We appreciate everything City Schools has already done for our families, and we hope that you can help us with this issue as well. So I ask you now, will you implement these excused absences for these 3 issues? Thank you.
Next, if we could have Franco Mueller-Paz.
Hello, everyone, and thank you to the members of the board and everyone here for supporting and listening to these issues. My name is Franco Mueller-Paz. I'm an educator of 15 years here in Baltimore City for 13 years, and I was one of the finalists for Baltimore's Teacher of the Year. I'm here to support SOMOS and their call for clear actions to support immigrant families. I'm sad to say that our school has been touched by this terror. We have had parents, uncles, mentors, family friends detained in the lives of our students and staff. It's had a devastating impact on our young people. And in the face of these detentions, our young people have to go to school knowing that their parent is sleeping on the floor with a space blanket, sharing a cell with 30 or more people, with one toilet publicly being used, and are being denied critical medication like diabetes medication that was denied to one of our community members, and many more humiliations. If these students are also undocumented, they realistically fear that they may never see their parent again. They cannot cross the border and their parent can't either. If they have the ability to travel, they fear that the only time they'll see this loved one is if they can afford the plane ticket and the time to be able to go. It's worth saying, as Anthony mentioned, that this sense of grief and loss weighs as a death. It is a death in this relationship, a permanent change for many of our young people. And even for those students that haven't been touched by this ruthless immigration enforcement, they experience what's called anticipatory grief. This is grief normally for older adults as we begin to deal with the mortality of our parents, as we see them age and get sick. But instead, it's being experienced by elementary school students and middle school students and high school students as they fear the day that they could come home to an empty house. There's a lot that's out of our control, but there's also a lot in our control. I want to lift up the Baltimore City College community. Last week, as many of you have maybe heard, there was a huge set of rumors around an ICE enforcement that was going to take place last Wednesday. Parents were terrified. All the group chats around Baltimore City were sharing these fears. With our school, our parents knew that our teachers had been trained, that our administration was going to be outside, that there were community members keeping an eye out for them. They knew that in the case of immigration action, and I'll wrap up in a moment, that their community had their back. And that's why Baltimore City College saw incredible attendance on that day. But unfortunately, many of our schools did not. So please listen to these incredible suggestions and solutions from our students. They have a real impact on the mental health of our adults and of our students, and change can be done. That makes an impact right now. Thank you.
We'd like to take this time to invite Aisha Sidibe back up to the table. I'll turn it back over to Chair Sally.
Thank you. And just a reminder, the board will accept public comment written. So any comments, we know that there's a lot more interest than we have room to accommodate every single evening, but at any time, public comment can come in that will be reviewed by the entire board. Just to go back to the public comment that was shared by video earlier, there's a quality image issue. So what we're going to do is download that video and translate that for the board's review. So that's not lost on us. We will review that for tonight. So based on, and I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight, for providing public comment. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Based upon public comment, are there any additional items board members would like to pull from the consent agenda? Yes, sir. If it is a comment that we could hold on that's not related to the consent agenda.
I'm sorry. I'm very proud of our youth. I know that there's a hope for tomorrow because I see that you have taken the reins in your hand and you're moving forward with strength. I appreciate you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta. So returning to our consent agenda, I'd like to ask and invite our staff up for item 9.03. This is an update to board procedures BLC for appeals and hearings related to students. This will be our Office of Legal Counsel to take Commissioner Mohammed's question around principal authority. Commissioner Mohammed, this is for 9.03. Can you restate your question? The statement or question?
I'm pulling it now. Give me 1 second. Appreciate you allowing me the time to address this. With regards to the policy, how will the changes affect principal level authority and discretion? And particularly, can you also speak towards principals, how they're receiving professional development regarding these changes? How will it affect their paperwork, documentation, and their ability to prepare for hearings when needed?
Thank you for that question. Josh Sivin, Chief Legal Officer with Caitlin Barnes, who's Assistant Counsel in our office. So just a background, this policy and the revisions, this policy involves the procedures for extended suspensions and expulsions once they get to the level of the board and being heard by the board. There were about 7 appeals in the 23-24 year, about the same for the subsequent year. And so this sets forth the procedures. We did a larger overhaul of board policy around suspensions and expulsions and behavioral management, I think last year. And so these are really just conforming amendments for that to align when the hearings get to the board to the revisions that were made. For those broader revisions, there were trainings of principals both at Leadership Institute or Operations Institute over the summer and then throughout the year that the Office of Student Conduct and Attendance conducted. And these revisions really deal with what happens when an appeal gets to the board. And that goes to the Office of Legal Counsel to support the representation. We then prepare principals and staff to be witnesses for that, support them in the testifying before that. And there's, and so really that process is about working through the decision of the principal because there's a right under state law for that appeal to happen to the board when it's an extended suspension or expulsion.
Based on the trainings, do we see any increased effectiveness coming from our principals when they are called to present findings during hearings? And do we have any feedback from our leaders generally on the professional development that was provided?
I think we can follow up with the Office of Student Conduct and Attendance on the particulars of feedback on the trainings. I do know that one of the pieces that was important that we gave feedback on to principals was that if a video is used in a suspension decision, meaning that a principal downloaded a video from CCTV camera, that video then needs to be retained for that process. And so we've seen those videos being retained. So that is in and of itself important documentation, because if you say that you saw a student on a video doing something, it's important to have that video so that the family can see that video and be afforded their due process in that process.
Appreciate the insight. Thank you.
And then Chief Sivins, while you're here, can we address 18.01? This is a comment from Commissioner Mohammed also regarding legal services contract increase.
Appreciate that. So in that, with regards to the legal service contract, fellow board members. If you remember our last public board meeting, I pulled something similar to this. I think that city schools and city schools leadership is demonstrating a strong compliance posture to the challenging legal landscape that we have. I think that we're doing a great job at identifying firms such as this that provides in-depth experience based on our needs. My comment is really directed to us, where we are finding ourselves, again, approving, even though this is very much needed, but we're finding ourselves approving a large legal bill. Here we see an increase from 100,000 to 800,000. Clearly is absolutely needed. And I would suggest that we eagerly approve it. But I would continue to push on us to think about how we deal with these challenges in the future. That these bills are adding up, and there are a lot of needs that we face as a district. We are looking at potential cliffs and cuts, and we have to take into account what we're spending now, because what we're spending now is going to impact our decisions tomorrow. So this is another opportunity for us to look at legal costs and how we can rein them in potentially in the future with identifying a team, persons that can offer us this service, but bringing some of these services in-house. Because anytime we're doing something that's going from 100 to 800,000, it's time for us to have other conversations about, is this cost effective in the long term? But with that, I appreciate the work. I appreciate you bringing this and this firm to us now. You certainly have my support in this in the immediate future. Just looking for potential cost savings in the future.
Thank you for that comment. I just want to make sure I understand. I'm just recapping from last board meeting. So these services provide the ability to extend the Office of Legal Counsel's ability to react to certain types of litigation, certain types of legal counsel, and other advice that provide information and services to the district. That's my understanding?
Yes.
Why do we do that?
Yes, and I as we discussed previously, absolutely take Commissioner Mohammed's comments, and we will continue to look at opportunities about how we deliver legal services effectively. And it's particularly important when we have an issue with particular expertise that may not be a long-run issue, that we have to weigh the benefits of having this done outside for the particular targeted purpose versus a long-term potentially staff hire. And so those are the balances that we work through, and also the need for particular expert assistance on particular topics. So noted, and we'll continue to look at that in a careful way.
Thank you, Chief Simmons. I appreciate it. I'll now invite the academics team up for item 9.04 for a presentation on the school year 26-27 calendar recommendations. Welcome, Dr. Swinton-Buck and Mr. Birnbaum.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Right. So good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Dr. Santelises, Board of Commissioners. I am Dr. Swinton-Buck, Deputy Chief Academic Officer, and I'm here with Simon Birnbaum, Director of Grading, Assessments, and Scheduling, and we will provide an update on the 26-27 calendar that was preliminarily approved in the spring. Perfect. So as you are aware, we conducted extensive stakeholder engagement last school year, and we proposed a preliminary calendar. We have a few updates that we would like the board to consider. And so we will walk through the major considerations that we do when we develop and design the calendar. And then we'll also talk about the proposed adjustments, not changing what was approved last year, but really updating you on some specific changes that we needed to do based on state regulations and also just overall calendar updates. As always, our calendar design is grounded in our board's strategic priorities, concentrated on providing high quality instructional supports to our students, overall wellness, family engagement, equity, and operational conditions. And so our design of the calendar and our stakeholder engagement, all of that work was committed to the board's strategic priorities. And Simon will share more about the updates. And this is the timeline. So yeah, go back. Sorry. This is the timeline of last spring when you all approved. We presented to the Teaching and Learning Committee, and now we are here to offer the updates to you for approval.
So there's a lot of considerations that go into designing the school year calendar. That comes from some legal requirements from COMAR and our contractual agreements, some dates that appear on the calendar related to state and federal holidays and religious observances. And we also take into consideration past practices. What have we done with our professional learning in the past? What have we done with wellness days? And of course, thinking about the overall impact on attendance that the calendar can have. Some of the state and local requirements include having 180 school days and 190 staff working days. So that's 180 for students and 10 additional ones for professional learning. There are some mandated or required school holidays where schools and offices are closed. And there is also our agreements with BTU to have 190, no more than 190 working days. We have just a couple proposed adjustments for the calendar from what was from what we were looking at during last spring. One of them is a requirement. We hadn't included Election Day for 2026 as a day off for schools. And so we would then propose making November 3rd, 2026, a day that schools and district offices are closed. This, of course, would then require us to add another day, another school day to the calendar to make sure that we're meeting that 180-day minimum. The other proposal that we have is to move the start of the school year back by 1 week from what was talked about last year. So this would mean that we would have teachers come back on August 18th. That's a Thursday, or a Tuesday, I'm sorry. And then students would start on August 24th. The reason for this is so that we can make sure that we're ending the school year at appropriate time. If we continue with the current start date of August 31st, it would mean that we wouldn't have a last day of school until after the Juneteenth holiday, pushing it way far into June. And we know the impact that has on student attendance. Without, at this particular meeting, taking a look at the full calendar, just highlighting the 3 months that would have to have changes. You can see here in August, the light green squares there would be school days and the dark green would be professional learning days. In November, that blue square on November 3rd becomes a holiday, our election day. And then for June, because of the other 2 changes, it would then adjust the last day of school to be as early as June 11th, and then with inclement weather days as late as June 16th. You can find more information in the appendix to our presentation. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for my board colleagues this evening on the calendar? So this is critically important for us as we get ahead of transition. We want to make sure that the public has access to this information, as we know it's really important for families as well as our educators who are experiencing changes. I'll turn over to Commissioner Redding-Wallinger for a question.
Thank you. Welcome to both of you. We got to engage at the Teaching and Learning Committee last week. I just wanted to follow up on the discussion we had there about half days. We've talked about the benefits for teachers and grading, huge benefit. In the past, we've also talked about student attendance on those days tends to be pretty low. Do you have any data for us updated data just on student attendance about how low student attendance is and how you all are weighing that trade-off? I know you shared a little bit of the teaching and learning, but I think it'd be helpful for folks to hear.
Yeah, we have seen in the past roughly like a 10 to 15% lower attendance on those early release days, which is as a significant of the shift as you pretty much see in any other sort of things that happen. You know, we still see students coming to school and there is still teaching and learning happening during that time, but to not as many students as is typically there.
And just reiterating what I think you said in the teaching and learning, you strongly feel that it's worth the trade-off for teachers being able to have that time to be able to do grades at the end of the quarter, and in the case of the first one, be able to meet with families at the end of the first marking period.
That's
Yes, that is exactly right. And I think what you mentioned during the committee was like the competing priorities within the calendar. And so that is a trade-off, but we also do understand that we have prioritized that for teachers to have the time to do the administrative tasks that they need to do that we hear them talk about so often. And so that is a trade-off. We have kind of kept it close to the marking period and the grading and not expanded out with those early release days. And we did have much more in previous calendars, and we kind of balance that and said, well, let's be really strategic and place these at specific times within the grading window so that it is strategic and also beneficial to the school staff.
Thank you. And thanks for thinking about that. I mean, we've heard several times people make comment to us about teachers specifically making comments to us about the fact that they really want to make sure students have the opportunity to turn in grades at the end of the quarter. And they also don't want to spend every night, you know, at the end of the marking period doing grades. So not that this solves that entire issue, you know, it's still just a half day, but I do know that it's appreciated. So I appreciate you all thinking about that.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Redding Wallinger. Any additional comments or questions? Commissioner Chicas-Guzman.
Yeah, I just had a question on how is the district reducing the loss of attendance drops around wellness days? Because, you know, as a student, I know that a lot of students, when it comes to wellness days, we aren't as engaged. And I was just wondering how you guys are planning to fight against that. And you don't have to answer right now, but it's just something that's like concerning me.
So one of the ways that we have tried to reduce, so are you talking about like a day right before or right after a wellness day?
I guess like right before, yeah.
So one of the ways that we've tried to do that is by whenever we have the option to put days that are, you know, professional learning days, days where students don't have to come to school on a Monday through Friday, to make those on Fridays. We heard from both students and families that they appreciate not having these sort of like one-off days. And you will see in the appendix some data on a time this year where we had a day off on a Tuesday, or was it a Thursday? And you could see that, you know, we had a day off on a Thursday and that Friday attendance was really low. And so we've tried to avoid that as much as possible. And when there are days off, to try to, that we have options for, to group them with a weekend so that you have a solid 4 days of school before a 3-day weekend. I know families appreciate that because they don't have to sort of find these, you know, in between days for childcare, and students, I think, appreciate it too.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions? Thank you so much. We appreciate the presentation. I think that covers everything on consent. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Kenyatta Bay.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenyatta Bay. Is there a second?
Second, Chicas-Guzman.
Thank you, Commissioner Chicas-Guzman. All in favor? Vice Chair Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Ames Messenger? Commissioner Chicas-Guzman? Commissioner Coy?
Yes.
Commissioner Esposito?
Yes.
Commissioner Kenyatta Bay?
Yes.
Commissioner Mohammed? Commissioner Redding Wallinger?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott Woodruff?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Commissioner Slater Harrington.
Yes.
Thank you. And I am also in favor. This motion passes. We've got 2 adjustments to the calendar, to our agenda this evening. One is to accommodate a student who did sign up in advance for public comment. So let's turn it back over to our board exec.
Thank you, and apologies to Christy Canales, who did sign up on time. If you could please come up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chrissy Canales. I'm a Baltimore City College student and a track member. Just as my peer Anthony mentioned a few minutes ago, we are really grateful to be here to share our concerns with you and to offer some recommendations that we believe will do well. As you may have noticed, the city has been chaotic lately, especially regarding the rise in immigration-related situations. This has caused many of our families to feel anxious and even terrified. We've also seen that some schools are not fully prepared to handle these situations in a way that protects students and reassures families. Because of this, we want to offer a simple but essential suggestion. One that may seem obvious, but unfortunately is not yet happening consistently across our schools. We believe BCPSS staff need additional training on immigration-related policies and protocols so that every school is truly prepared in case something happens, not implying it might happen, but being realistic. This suggestion includes, number one, general know your rights training, so staff understand legal protections our immigrant families have. Number two, clear guidance on how to handle an immigration enforcement visit, including the legal protocols that must be followed. Number three, designating a train point person in each school who is responsible for handling any immigration-related visits or inquiries. Number four, preparing in advance for situations where a student or family might be affected, so schools respond with consistency and care. Number five, a written district-wide policy, so every school has a clear plan and knows exactly what procedures to follow. And finally, number six, ensuring that student information is never shared in alignment with BCPSS's commitment to no collaboration with immigration enforcement. These simple suggestions that I just mentioned are things that my school has already been doing, and we've seen how successful and reassuring they can be for our families. All we want is to make sure that every parent in Baltimore City feels secure knowing that their children will get home safely, that the pickup and drop-off zones are safe enough that families do not feel the need to sit in their vehicles with hesitation, that students across the city do not miss school out of fear. We want our families to feel confident that school is a place where their children come to learn, not to think about anything else other than school. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that covers all of our public comment. We appreciate it. The other adjustment that we have for this evening is going back to item number 5.01, which is the AMP board update. So I'd like to welcome the Office of the Chief Financial Officer up for a presentation on AMP. I'm so sorry. It's the Chief Information for Technology. Excuse me. The reason why I highlight finance, this certainly as I turn this over to the team here today, is that the AMP update is really critically important as it touches a lot of different parts of city schools and will have lots of implications for our teachers, our employees, our vendors, and other folks as well. So appreciate just the update today.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Jones. I'm the Chief Information Technology Officer. I appreciate Chair Sally and Vice Chair Parker and all the rest of the commissioners in letting us take this moment. I'm here sharing the spotlight with my colleague, Chief Emily Nielsen, Chief of Human Capital. And we want to give you a quick update of what's going on with the AMP project. It was just a second to get up the screen. It never works the way you practice it for 14 times. I did have more hair when I started this project. Lynn? I don't think so. Yeah, I can share that. And of course, the technology problems always happen when the chief technology is up here.
Would you like for me to display it?
Yes, if you can.
That'd be
This
great.
is Tanisha. Thank you. Okay.
Is that the
You
right
got
one?
it? Oh, there it is.
I think I just got it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Tanisha, for that kind offer. Yes, thank you for your patience.
All right, ready? As we've said before, the board priorities, strategic priorities that we focus on is 3 and 5. Some of us are old and can't see that far, so I better get it up on the. Thank you. We've talked about AMP a lot, and there are 3 key things about the AMP project. One is the foundation for the future. It is literally replacing something that's over 20 years old. It is also designed to leverage the latest technology and implement cutting-edge systems to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. It is an improvement to core processes, and I cannot emphasize that more, the improvement to core processes, as well as it is a multi-year, multifaceted initiative. We talk about it being multi-year, multifaceted. We started off with finance a couple of years ago, and we completed it successfully. We launched it in July of 2023. We moved on to performance management, what everybody know affectionately as CHARM. That went live September 24. We then implemented the new learning management system, replacing I think, almost 20-year-old Blackboard system with the new Canvas and KickUp. That went live this summer. We are now ready to launch the new HCM and payroll module inside of Fusion and UKG. That is going live as we speak. So we actually.
Day 2 with the new system. They work day 2.
Day 2. So we started Saturday and we've been working all weekend. And then we still have to go the leadership tracking system, the applicant tracking system, health and safety grievances, and the budget application. One of the things we want to highlight is, remember we said we just launched it. We are literally live as we're speaking. The initial employee self-service system where people can do name changes, resignation, the initial HC transaction for reassignments, and milestones, things like the new hire journey. That is a big deal for us, and the people have a better, smoother new hire journey. Chief Nielsen, you got the latest?
Sure. So, well, I don't have the latest,
Okay,
but
okay.
on work day 1, which was a delayed start, as you all know, we had almost 600 users accessing Fusion, and we had more today. So we're really excited to see the initial engagement of our staff with the new platform.
One of the things about the AMP project, it does a lot of behind the scenes work. A lot of the change and a lot of the work that was going on, people don't see normally. However, one of the big things that we want to point out here tonight is that the employee self-service that's going on, where employees can do personnel details like changes to name, demographic, they can change their phone, email. All of these processes may seem simple, but they were very laborious work on the part of the employees prior to the launch of AMP. Just to give you a quick overview, we have a little video we would like to share where it gives you an overview of ESS.
And this is one of the videos that we have available to staff to help them navigate use of the new platform. Have sound from.
Yeah, we should have
That
sound.
was correct.
Guys, why would that get the sound? We may not have the video playing for some reason tonight. We practiced this 8 times a day before we started, and of course it doesn't work. Nope. Go back. So I'm sorry we didn't have the sound. We tried to get so you could hear it, but it is on our website. It is available to employees. It walks you through what you see in the employees' single self-service modules.
So that's about our self-service that all of our employees have access to. Also want to share with you a little bit more about the functionality that our HR and payroll teams will be using that employees will also see and feel the impact of the improvement. So the first one, although we don't have employees, each of our employees experience a life event frequently. Those who do when they get married or have a child that they're adding to the family previously were filling out PDFs that they had to email and then couldn't track. There was no reassurance that they had been processed or gone through. With Fusion, they can now upload documents directly into the platform and track their processing so that they can see real time where we're at in adding their dependents when they have a life event. Core HR in the employee self-service platform, there's now much more assignment history that you can view. You can view and update personal details as well as see team structure to be able to get in touch with other employees. Our payroll, we have enhanced functionality to access and update your tax withholdings, download your tax documents. We sent out a communication last week with information about how to access your pay slips, since we know that's functionality many employees frequently use. That will be easier through the new system once we all settle into the look and feel changes. Compensation, more information on demand at employees' fingertips in what they can view for their salary history, their compensation statements, and other pay breakdowns, including interval movement and across the board annual increases. And so this is just barely scratching the surface of the updates that the new Fusion platform provides to our team and to our employees across the organization. So to make this a successful launch, we've really engaged in training and communication. The training, one of the most important groups we needed to train was our timekeepers, who have been responsible for manually updating spreadsheets to submit time to payroll every 2 weeks so that employees can get paid. We launched UKG, a new time and attendance system. While we're getting used to the system, we're continuing to have them using that system to make updates. But this spring, we'll be going live with Punch to Pay, and employees will actually be submitting their time off requests through that. But we knew that timekeepers were a really key stakeholder group to train. We had hundreds of timekeepers engage in the pre-training in Canvas, our new learning platform. We had almost 400 timekeepers and approvers come here for live in-person sessions in November, and we've been offering virtual training sessions since then to make sure that they are fully equipped to submit pay in the new system. So in addition to the training, support, and communications that have been really targeted on the timekeepers, there are a few other employees beyond our human capital and payroll teams who this will change how they do business. So we learned from our finance go live in July how important it is to make sure that the core teams really understand the new platform and are our first best students of the new system and users of the new system. So they've engaged in extensive training. We also had more in-depth training for our budget designees who are going to be using the new P-Star 2.0 and our budget amendment app. And then all staff have not only access to a suite of tools that we'll talk through to help them navigate the new system, but have received a variety of communications emails, videos, quick reference guides to support them in this transition and knowing what's going to be happening. So this is some screenshots of the AMP webpage that we have set up with resources for our employees. That's on our district website. This is my second ERP transition that I've done for an organization, and we've certainly done a lot more communications and training than the last one I did. Tommy's done even more, and how would you characterize that?
I was making the comment to Chief Nielsen earlier that this is unique, the amount of energy that has gone into on-demand resources for employees. Because, you know, you can train and train and train and sit through lesson after lesson after lesson. But when you're in the middle of trying to get something done, it's hard sometimes to actually know what you were trained on. So we put a great deal of energy into doing these little reels, these snapshots, and that type of thing so that people can get help on demand.
How they need it and how they prefer to digest the training and support. And this really has been a wraparound effort with the online on-demand resources, the change champions representing every team who are getting more in-depth updates on a monthly basis. We've had office hours for our timekeepers and ongoing training sessions for them, learning labs in which they get to test things out and ask questions, our support centers this week, the communications, as well as all the self-service resources. And these supports are tiered. So our hypercare support plan starts with our on-demand self-service resources that employees can use when they need them. If they can't find what they need through those self-service resources, they can reach out to our OIT call center, our human capital call center, our payroll call center, or also submit a HEAT ticket. If they call any of those three teams, they can also help them submit a HEAT ticket. The customer service on those three teams respond to the basic inquiries about how to do things in the new system and connecting the employees with resources. Anything that they can't answer gets escalated to department leads, the subject matter experts on the team who can answer the next thing, and anything that they can't solve goes to the AMP project team. We also have our contractors, the vendors who've been supporting us through this implementation on site here this week, working side by side with our team to make sure that we're resolving any issues that are coming up with the implementation and the integration.
I think that's a very important thing to just note. We have involved all of the various groups, including the contractors, that are literally sitting upstairs, making sure that if there's any issue, we can respond to it immediately, both between the three groups, OIT, AC, Finance, as well as all of the contractors that we supported for this.
And we know it's wonderful to have a new platform go live, but what everyone really cares about is getting paid accurately on January 2nd, the first pay in the new system. And so here are some of the things that some of the actions we've taken to make sure that we can pay employees accurately on January 2nd. So we've spoken to a lot of training for our payroll and HG teams, as well as the timekeepers, the change champions. We've been holding daily calls this week to answer any questions they have, make sure that they know exactly what to do. We moved up the payroll submission deadline from next Friday, when the district is closed for the holiday, to this Friday, which gives our payroll team and our UKG consultants an extra week to process payroll and troubleshoot any issues they find. We have those teams on site side by side with our team. Last week, we sent a notification to all of our staff members explaining things look different. Your pay slip looks different in Fusion than it did in EBS. And there are some changes in tax law for 2026 and any changes that you made to your benefits elections. And there are also some calculation changes with the new system. So we want everyone to know what's going to be different and that we're expecting those differences so that they're feeling prepared. And then finally, as we've discussed throughout our quarterly updates, we did make the decision to separate the launch of UKG for payroll with employees punching to pay, indicating their daily attendance. And we will be rolling that out this spring. And in our next quarterly update, we'll let you know how that went. So the two big things that we have coming up now that we've made this really important milestone with the phase 3 go live is the UKG Ready Punch to Pay rollout. As a reminder, our school police And our managers and Pizzazza and Cub and our unaffiliated staff will be punching to pay first in February. And then in April, after spring break, we'll roll that out to our BTU, PSRP, and L44 staff members. So by the end of this school year, all of our staff will fully be using UKG and all of its benefits to submit their time and attendance daily, as well as their time off requests in a modern platform that doesn't require sign-in binders and spreadsheets. And then the other thing is we're closing out our legacy system, EBS. So right now, staff can still access that system to download any records. We got a request for some more support and sessions. We've rolled out quick reference guides and some videos, and we're planning to hold some in-person and virtual sessions in January in the new year to make sure that everyone's getting all of the information that they need from the old system, that they've downloaded all the records that they want to keep in their personal records before we sunset the system. And the data will only exist in our data archive. We won't have access to the system any longer. So we're working in the new year to get everyone prepared for that transition. And that will wrap up our phase 3 go live. And we'll just continue with the hypercare efforts to support staff in this smooth and successful transition.
Yes. And we do plan to make sure that hypercare functionality, the support, is there for at least 3 months, so that we're sure that we're answering questions. And I would be remiss if if I didn't admit that my staff scolded me and told me the problem with the video was user error. When I logged into Teams, I did not share my audio. And they said, there's nothing I can do about the user error, Chief. So I got you guys.
Well, thank you. And we would be remiss to close without thanking our team leads who have been so instrumental in this monumental multi-year project. Many of them are here with us tonight. So I'd like to acknowledge Swapna Dige from our technology team. If you could stand up, please. She's been leading all of our project management office works. Sarah Abel from Human Capital Systems and Strategies. Kenny Carter, who's been leading our change management efforts in communication and technology, communication and training. Courtney Desabaye, our finance lead for ARP. We've got Chris pass the baton on the presentation now that we've done finance, but Chris, our third executive sponsor. Connie Bossy, our payroll director, is not here in person. She's online. She and her team have done so much work to make this smooth for our staff. And we just, everyone on these teams whose leaders we just gave the shout out for have worked so hard, and we extend our sincere gratitude to them for the work they've done to make this successful thus far and successful ongoing.
Appreciate the update. Thank you so much. We know how critically important that is to get everybody paid, records retained, and other information that will be going through UKG and AMP as a whole. So we appreciate that. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Coy for a couple of questions and comments.
Yeah, and certainly, I recall back to one of my first in-person on-site experiences as a commissioner was visiting with one of the decision accelerators, was at the at the UPC building, and the amount of time, effort, energy, and imagining the system and building it out has been extensive, is extensive. And certainly this is a shift from a reliance on informal processes with like human-based workarounds, where if you know the person that knows how to do a thing, you can then get it done, to much more defined and tech-built formal processes that have fewer of those, I'll say, duct tape workarounds, which is a change in the experience, right? And there's going to be, as you all have highlighted, I've heard you all say these things, I'm just vocalizing it here in this context, that there are going to be a number of these changes that that may feel frustrating in the first getting used to the different system, and a number of these changes are not going to feel revolutionary, right? We all have grown so accustomed to interacting with systems and platforms that we expect to be really smooth, and certainly in my observation, many of those platforms are very singular in their focus, and they're optimized really for one thing, which is like how to get us to buy something, and in this process, it is inherently far more complex, and it is, working to build out systems that contemplate so many different varieties and variations and different types of employees and situations, and folks in different buildings needing to be able to access. So the complexity, I guess, I'm highlighting is great. But I do look forward to the operational efficiencies that will be, and many of these won't be visible to the average person, right? That they don't see what has gone in the background in human capital and other aspects of finance and all the different offices that this touches. But it will, what I look forward to is that efficiency, the accuracy and transparency that people can see in real time, some of those changes, and the increased uniformity of the process. So, it matters, and it's under the hood work, which is often thankless in many ways. And I appreciate the time I spent with you all last week ahead of some of the rollout. And my only, I guess, comment that I'll repeat here is just thinking about the different ways that you all can engage with the various union representatives to ensure that you have recurring insights and trainings and supports to help as it rolls out, because this will make, I believe this will have a positive impact. And as it is then becoming the norm, will then just be, functioning in all the ways, but it's going to take some steps to get there, and it's everyone. We need all hands on deck to help in that process. So with that, just say, I know this is a long and heavy lift, and we're at the starting line of implementation, but it's at the finish line of a lot of design building and work to get here. So adding my thanks to all the work that everybody on all the different teams has given to this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Coy. Commissioner Reagan Lollinger?
I saw Kenyatta Bay's hand first.
You can do Kenyatta Bay and Reagan Lollinger. How about that?
First of all, being an employee for a long, long time, it's not just the getting paid part, it is the access to my information part that is very, very important. Being able to look and see where everything is and how. But it does bring me to another question that I really just wanted to put out there about because I love this streamlining. I love the access. But I always had this fear of putting all my ammunition in one holding cell, one good lob and it's gone. So I wanted to know, security-wise, what type of structure have we built security-wise? Because we just ran into a problem not so long ago, and I just want to make sure that this information, it's just sensitive information, and some of it is very personal. How have we built walls?
So I appreciate the question. And one of the things that is important to realize that in our old system, we housed it on site in our own data centers. And every piece of security that we had to build and pay for ourselves. This is a new modern system that is moved out to the cloud. It is under the umbrella of Oracle, one of the largest information technology companies in the world, supporting hundreds of thousands of systems just like us. And one of the reasons we did that is because, as I've said many times in our presentations, we cannot possibly afford all of the security that they build around it. We don't have the money, but they have built a lot of security around their cloud tools and systems and so forth. So we are still also actually enhancing on our own internal things that support some of the back end data. So we appreciate your desire to protect your data. We feel the same way, and every step we take is trying to get better than what we were. So so kind of an informal model is be better this week than last week. So we're trying to take big steps in that direction.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Reagan Lollinger?
Yes, I want to also applaud you all on this body of work, everybody here. I mean, I get a headache when I just think about how much is involved with all of this. I'm not quite sure I understand it all, to be quite honest. But I do think the most important piece moving forward is going to be the degree to which you all are actively learning about the issues and solving people's issues. I think that's going to be the perception of whether this thing is successful or not. really appreciate seeing the different tiers of support here. I think that makes a lot of sense. It makes me feel very comfortable going into this. My question is, how, I mean, I see in various parts here, you're logging issues. You've got different points in time that talk about the responses. Do you have, at a sort of high level, do you have a plan for how you're aggregating all of that data? So for instance, at the end of these 3 months of intensive support, if we wanted to know how much time did it take for the, how many days did it take for the average issue to be resolved? Would you be able to tell us that? Or, what were the three, most common user errors that were happening? That's the kind of information that I know I would be interested as a board member. So I know you're thinking about this. Can you speak to that a little bit, how you're aggregating the issues and raising them up so that we can get a big picture level of what's happening? How is this going? What are the things that people are telling us about their experiences with the system?
So as I mentioned, we have 3 call centers, and we've all agreed that we're going to use our heat ticketing system so we can aggregate that data. And there are actually a couple huddles during each workday so that we can look at the patterns of issues that are emerging and also make sure that our call centers are getting FAQs to push out to users for the most common concerns that are surfacing that we might not have initially anticipated and created resources for. So in our April update, we can certainly share what, how many calls and tickets were submitted for this, what were the common issues. And a lot of them right now are things that can be closed day of because it's about pushing an existing resource to the staff member so that they have it, or correcting a access issue, things like that. But certainly as we start getting into the more complicated issues, it'll be important to track how long it's taking to close.
Thank you. I think that will be really helpful information for us to have because, when stuff gets to us, it's the individual incident that happened and it's, we don't have context to be able to say, that's actually a very common problem. And there's an FAQ, video that's been put out about this or, but if we don't have the data, then we can only rely on the sort of anecdotal data that we get. So that would be helpful information for us to know along the way.
And just to add a little bit to what Chief Nielsen said, one of the reasons we put the call center together was we wanted to be able and tracking it is for the very reason you have, because many of them, every time we get an answer, we can build a new FAQ that expands upon it. And many of the questions that we get are going to be, they have already been, and they are going to be the same thing that someone else just called about. People, it's Commissioner Coy said, change is hard. I make the joke within the team that I bring change to people, and every time Apple comes out with a new iOS, I'm mad because the interface changed. They just did it to me. So we are very cognizant of the fact that we need to be responsive to people. We need to track stuff and build things so they can get there even quicker. I made a comment about the uniqueness and the thoroughness and robustness of all those resources where people over time will learn to answer their own question and they won't have to wait for us, which is great for them and for us. So that was part of the whole integrated sort of plan from the beginning is we want to make people self-sufficient. And this systems have been around for 20 years. Let's face it, no one's going to like the way they have to do it. I don't care how good it is. People are not going to like it because it's changed. So yes, we are really very conscious of that and trying to make this experience as pleasant as is possible for a brand new system to go out and deal with. So thank you.
And last comment, so obviously it deals with the complexity, but what I think I heard you say is for most of the most common issues, you feel like a one-day things could be resolved within a day. Now, as issues get more complex, I know that changes, but that is heartening to me because, again, oftentimes when things make it to us, it's, well, I tried this, I went to this person, I didn't get a response, I didn't hear all of these things. So,
I just want to clarify one part of what you said.
Okay.
I didn't say I think that they can be resolved in one day. Experience so far has
The
been
issues so
most
far
of
that have come
them.
up, which are
We know
probably-
they're going to get tougher.
Yeah.
We already know that. One of the things that we did, and Chief Nielsen pointed out this, we have a war room on the 3rd floor where we have consultants and payroll and HC and OIT all right there. So it's no making a phone call, setting up a meeting. It's, we have an issue that we need to deal with. Grab Johnny and Susie and let's walk in this little conference room and deal with it. So we're doing what we hope will be a very satisfactory experience, realizing change in and of itself is rough.
Sure. I won't hold you to one day on every.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Any additional comments or questions this evening? Hearing none, just thank you so much for the work. Thank you so much for the added team that has all helped to contribute to build the system. And we look forward to hearing more about the updates. I appreciate it.
And thank you for acknowledging the team just then, because they're the ones who are
course.
really kicking it.
Of course, we know there's many more folks who are probably not even in this room, the folks at Oracle too, who have helped us.
exactly
We
right.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, and so that takes us to the end of our agenda this evening. And before we can close out, we've got some more business ahead of us in the month of December. So we have our safety and wholeness meeting on December 17th. Is there anything you'd like to add, Commissioner Mohammed, on that?
Okay.
The meeting will occur tomorrow. Tomorrow, 4:30, we welcome any public comment and hope to see you all there.
Excellent, thank you. And then we'll have our operations committee meeting and our policy committee meeting on Monday, December 22nd. And then we'll be back after the first of the year for our first public board meeting right here in this room on January 6th at 6 p.m. I'd like to wish everybody a safe, enjoyable winter break and holiday season. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Esposito.
So moved. Thank you. I'll take Commissioner Senator Harrington for our second, Esposito for our first. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the calendar year.